Well, welcome everybody. This evening, looks like we'll have a pretty quick meeting again. Um, First up on the agenda is Josh and the Kestrel Land Trust with the request for determination of applicability for installing additional bog bridging on trail system for the Kestrel property, Waitley Center Woods. And what I'll do is share my screen just for the recording and for anybody that wants to watch it later to show the figure that you gave us, Josh, and then ask you to give just a brief description of what it is you intend to do.
Sounds good.
All right, the floor is yours.
All right, so I know that I think most of you were out with me this past Saturday, but I'll just go over it real quick. So you can see on the PDF there that Scott has up that pink area is a section of trail in Waitley Center Woods that is exceptionally wet for the first couple months of the year right after the snow melt. I think we all saw that when we were out there on Saturday. There's already some bog bridging there, and we're just looking to expand it. Right now, we have the budget to add an extra 330 feet onto the bog bridging there, and that's pretty much what this is. The bog bridging that we would install would be functionally identical to the bog bridging that's already there. Um, in fact, Scott, I think if you scroll down, I have a picture of the bog bridging that's already there, and then a little schematic of yeah. So that's the bog bridging that's already there, and then beneath it is just a schematic of what that looks like. Um, so I'd say it's fairly straightforward. It's nothing that isn't already at Waitley Center Woods, and it would do a great job of reducing user impact for that area and making sure that trail erosion stays in check. And it would help us keep that chunk of trail open for more of the year, because right now we're instituting a seasonal closure on that portion of trail just because it is so wet this time of year. But if we can continue to extend this bog bridging over time, hopefully we won't have to do that. So that's pretty much it.
Great, thank you. Andrew, I think you were the only one who wasn't able to come to the site visit, so
Yeah.
I'll let you ask any questions that you have first before we
No,
move on.
I'm familiar with the bog bridging. I've installed a few myself, so.
Okay, great. Anybody else have any comments or questions or concerns?
What are the little orange sections on that map?
The little orange sections are the sections of bog bridging that are already there. So you can
Okay.
see they're just little tiny, like one's maybe like 30 feet long, the other's like 50.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Would you do this work when it's when the when it's dried up, or will you do it whenever you get the weather allows?
Right now we're planning on aiming for, I'm trying to think, either late April or early May. We actually there's a service fraternity out of UMass that likes to come volunteer with us before the
Mhm.
school year's out, and it's a lot of hands to move a lot of wood. So we'd like to sort of coordinate an event with them. It'll obviously be sort of dependent on nobody knows how wet the spring's going to be. We won't do digging if the ground's too wet, but like at minimum, we would like to get the wood out there while school's still in session, so we can utilize those volunteers.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody have any problem with issuing a negative determination of applicability so that they can proceed?
No.
No problem here.
Yeah, it's all straightforward.
Kelly, you have any thoughts about it?
No, it seems, yeah, it seems pretty straightforward. It seems like a good improvement to the trail.
Does anybody want to recommend any conditions for the negative determination?
I don't think so.
All right, well then, the vote before us is to issue a negative determination of applicability without any additional conditions. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. That's unanimous. Josh, you're all set. Kelly, can you work up the paperwork and use the electronic signature approach for this one
Yes, I can.
and send it out to Josh when it's ready?
Yeah, I can probably do that tomorrow.
All right.
All right.
Thanks so much for your time, guys. I will make sure you get an email when we have an actual date set to move wood and get the building actually going. But thanks again for your time.
Sounds good, Josh.
All
All right. Thanks so much.
Have a good evening.
And okay, so the next, exciting item on our agenda is reviewing the minutes from our last exciting meeting, where we basically only approved the minutes from the previous meeting. So unless I made any typos, I'm assuming that's probably okay, but I'm going to ask you anyway. So anybody see any mistakes or want to make any changes?
Nope.
No,
Nope.
Nope, that's fine.
All right. All in favor of accepting the minutes?
I
Aye.
Aye. All right, very good. I don't have any updates or other business. Does anybody else have other business or an update you'd like to bring up? See a lot of head shaking.
Nope.
no, can't think of it. Wait for spring, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it'll be official in 2 more days. It's been quite an interesting winter and transition to spring. Looks like we still can expect more windy days, apparently. This seems to be the theme for the last year or so. All right, well, there's no sense in stretching this out. We made it to 7:07. So thanks for coming out, and we'll see what comes in between now and our next meeting in April.
Thank you,
Okay.
Scott.
Sounds good.
Good.
All right.
Good night,
Good
everyone.
night, everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night.